Hey guys, so I'm just going to run through how to make a fruit fly culture for feeding your reptiles or amphibians, whatever you might need them for. I was buying them for quite a while, but then you have to rebuy them once they either go off or the population gets too high and they end up dying. So I've started to make my own. It's definitely trial and error. I've had a few mouldy batches, so yeah, I found a way that works for me. So yeah, let's go. So what we're going to need is a scale so you can measure things out. You need a tub for the fruit flies to go in. You can either use, this is a 16-ounce tub. This is if you just want a smaller culture, if you don't need loads of flies. This is the best size for me. And you need a lid that looks like this. This one's a little bit manky, but you get the idea. So it's really tight mesh and a little hole with sellotape over so that you can just take the sellotape off and shake out what you need. And that's if the population gets high and you don't want them everywhere by opening it up. You will need some recently boiled water, so we've got some in the kettle there. You will need some white vinegar, distilled vinegar, whatever you call it. Not loads, just some. We have this, I like to use this. Yeah, you can use normal yeast as well. The yeast helps with the vinegar just to prevent mould. You need some of this, I don't know what you would call it, mesh wood or wood shavings, paper shavings, I don't know, whatever you like to call it. Little bits of, it's often used in packaging and things. And you will need a fruit fly mix. Now you get different ones of this. This is just the one that I've got at the moment. Okay, so I'm doing this one-handed as usual. I really need to get a tripod. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the tub on the scale, zero that out, and for this size of tub we're looking for 30 grams of powder. Obviously if you're using the 32-ounce tub, which is double this size, double this height, then you would use double, so you'd be using 60 grams. So yeah, it doesn't even have to be completely exact. We're looking for around about 30 grams. So there we go, that's 30 grams. So 30 grams of powder in there. Close up that mix. And then I'm just going to add just like a spoonful, a heaped spoonful, about that much of the yeast. There we go. It smells gorgeous, that stuff. It's really nice. If you haven't tried it, it's really good stuff. Okay, now we're going to zero the scale again. Lovely. Now you want to add, for 30 of the powder, we're using 50 mils of water. So we're going to get the kettle, and this is recently boiled, so it's still quite hot. And again, doesn't need to be exact, we've got 59 there, but we did add the yeast, which is a dry product. So we're just going to get a spoon and give that a little mix, which again is quite difficult to do one-handed. And while we're here, I'm going to add in, if I can get it open, a decent squish of the vinegar. And then we're going to mix that together. I need to find a way to balance this one. Right, so we want to mix that all together. I think I'm just going to add a little bit more water. You don't want it to be too thick or too thin actually, it just needs to be kind of like wallpaper paste kind of consistency. That's looking good. I'm going to just scrape most of it down off the walls of the tub. Lovely. So it's looking like this, sort of porridge like. So what we're going to do is we're going to let that sit for a few minutes, just to let it firm up a bit. And then we're going to add the paper shavings, packaging, I don't know what you call it. And then over here we have a fruit fly starter culture that I just bought. So this is basically just some fruit flies in the packaging. There's a little bit of banana in there just for them to feed, but there's no other food for them in here, so there's going to be no eggs, no larvae, no pupae, so it's just the flies. So we'll put the bedding into here, and then we add the flies. That's all we need to do. Yeah, so we'll come back to that when we're ready. Okay, so we are back. This has cooled down a bit and we are going to complete setting up the culture. So we want to put this into the tub. Doesn't need to be any order anyway, just get it in there, sorted. And also you don't want too much or too little either. It's got to be, you know, just kind of like that. Now this is the messy part. It's extremely difficult to work with fruit flies without getting them everywhere. So we'll have the lid ready. Lid is just here. So I'll do my best. I will do my best. Some people actually put them into the fridge. So we're just going to put in that little bit of bedding as well. Push that down. So there's always going to be a few that escape. It's just the way it is. Okay, so we've got most of them in there. We can just sweep the others away. There we are. Okay, so yeah, basically that is how you make a fruit fly culture. If I had more tubs, or if I wanted to have, you know, a bigger number of fruit flies, you can split the culture into 2 or even more tubs. So yeah, you can see them all inside there. So you can use these flies right away if you want. You can feed some of them to your animals. These will lay eggs down in the culture medium, and then you will get little wiggly larvae down there. They will then hatch into pupae and then eventually flies. So it can look like at the beginning that the culture is dying off, but give it time and I promise you, you'll end up with lots and lots. So even if I start feeding a lot of these off, the culture will explode again. So yeah, we'll see how this culture gets along. And yeah, I hope that was helpful. I will see you soon. Bye.